большое.
Very much. I now invite the Director General of Planning and Cooperation Department of the Ministry of Industry and Commerce of Laos, Mr. Vorachith Sirisamphanh, to take the floor. The next speaker will be the representative of New Zealand.
Mr. Chairman, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the delegation of the Lao PDR to the conference, let me express my sincere gratitude to the UNCTAD and the host country for inviting us to this UNCTAD 13 conference, which has been convened on a crucial time of world economic situation. I highly appreciate the efforts and initiatives of UNCTAD and member countries for the preparation of the conference. I personally share the views and comments of previous distinguished speakers. Let me now share some of our national experience and perspectives with the meeting. I wish to start by briefly introducing my country. Lao PDR is a small country in the Southeast Asia. It is now a member of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, ASEAN, and is in the final stage in the accession process to the WTO. A transition economy since 1986, though classified as a landlocked least developed country, Lao PDR has achieved remarkable economic development thanks to globalization. Our strategic and overarching goal is to drastically alleviate poverty by 2015 by bringing down the poverty incidence to no more than 10% in terms of number of families, and to graduate from the group of least developed countries by 2020. In the present 7th National Socio-Economic Development Plan 2011 to 15, average annual GDP growth rate is targeted at no less than 8%, with the annual export growth of over 18%. The Millennium Development Goals have been set as one of the main priorities of this 5-year plan. In line with such strong growth, total investment should be increased by 32%, out of which the state budget should contribute 10 to 12%, ODA 24 to 26%, private investment including FDI 50 to 56%, and banking credit 10 to 12%. In this relation, trade mainstreaming in the national development strategies has been playing a very crucial role for Lao PDR, given the size of its economy and its geopolitical location characterized by fast-growing and emerging surrounding markets. We have paid much attention to developing trade with neighboring countries such as Thailand, Vietnam, and China. With due consideration of the global economic outlook, the government of Lao PDR is making effort to strike a balance between developing resource and non-resource sectors, between economic and social development, between economic growth and environmental protection, between South-South and North-South trade. In addition to developing resource sectors like hydropower, mining, and forest exploitation, the government is focusing on a shift from an extensive to intensive model of growth and a sustainable and inclusive economic development. Expansion of trade in this country entails FDI promotion and attraction. The most recent reform of investment regime in Lao PDR has put the Ministry of Industry and Commerce to a more prominent role in investment promotion. Ladies and gentlemen, the national efforts in socio-economic development in Lao PDR in the past 4 years, between the two conferences of UNCTAD 12 and 13, which reflect the ownership and leadership on the part of the Lao government, would have not yielded the desired effect if we have not received assistance from our development partners. In the case of Lao PDR, the 6 core agencies of the Integrated Framework for Trade-Related Technical Assistance, especially the EIF, have created a coordinated framework for setting precedent to mobilizing and channeling aid for trade funding from donor countries and institutions to the trade sector. The present Trade Development Facility, TDF, represents coordinated donor effort towards supporting IF action metrics validated by the government of the Lao PDR and has the following components: A. Trade facilitation. B. Sanitary and phytosanitary standards framework. and technical barriers to trade. C, export competitiveness and business environment. D, capacity building, trade policy, trade agreement, and global opportunities. E, strengthening of the National Implementation Unit. Lao PDR is presently in the process of updating its Diagnostic Trade Integration Study, DTIS, scheduled to be validated this May. The focus of the DTIS is the roadmap, which forms the program for trade and private sector development in Lao PDR. As such, it integrates the action matrix activities arising from the diagnostic studies into a clear result-based framework. The strategic outcome of the program is sustainable trade and business development for poverty reduction and LDC graduation with a modern, diversified economy. This will be achieved through focusing on 3 pillars, namely, firstly, conducive trade and investment environment. Secondly, improve competitiveness, quality and value of agricultural, manufacturing, and service sectors. Thirdly, improve aid for trade governance framework for mainstreaming trade and private sector development. The government of Lao PDR will do its utmost to jointly formulate suitable projects arising from the DTIS in TDF2 and carry them out effectively with continued support and assistance extended to us from our development partners and the donor community. In spite of all these efforts, I wish to draw your attention to the fact that challenges of globalization still loom large in the mind of least developed countries. I strongly urge multilateral organizations, especially UNCTAD, to pursue further actions to meet the needs of both the LDCs and that of the LLDCs, as specified in the ministerial declarations adopted here in order to achieve the Millennium Development Goals and to graduate from the LDC status. With this note, let me conclude by wishing the meeting a fruitful debate and by hoping for a tangible success and a more positive impact of globalization for development. Last but not least, may I wish you all happiness and prosperity. I thank you for your attention. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.